swearing in of Uhuru Kenyatta as the President of the Republic of Kenya on Tuesday. The 300 million shilling ceremony will be held at the 60,000-seater Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. 7 other presidential candidates in the annulled August 8th election and the October 26th repeat poll, including his arch-rival Raila Odinga and their running mates, have been invited to that event. And even as the preparations go on, opposition coalition NASA says it will hold a memorial service at Jacaranda grounds in Nairobi to mourn those killed by police during demonstrations against repeat elections. The police, on the other hand, are saying they're not aware of any gathering to be held on Tuesday, apart from President Uhuru Kenyatta swearing in. And as all this is going on, the president is now appealing to all leaders, his competitors included, to let Kenya heal after a tedious, prolonged electioneering period and allow the government to embark on its developmental agenda. Perhaps sensing the divide in the country, KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli is even asking religious leaders to be in the front line and ensure there is dialogue between President Uhuru Kenyatta and NASA leader Raila Odinga.
Neno la amani na neno la umoja, na kuahidi siku ya leo, vile nimesema hapo awali, ya kwamba jukumu langu la kwanza ni amani kwa wananchi wote.
And it would also be interesting and important to mention that political analysts are the very reason why the President of the Republic of Kenya does not watch TV or read newspapers. Well, yeah, anymore. A very good evening to you people. This is Crossfire. Let's have a conversation about what has happened in the country the last 1 week as we count down to that swearing-in ceremony of President Uhuru Kenyatta. So in studio to my immediate right, we have Odoyo Owidi. He's a political analyst. And right next to him, we have Ambrose Weda, who's a lawyer, stroke political analyst. The gentleman the president is clearly not very happy with. So before we start this conversation, let's take a look at the preparations that are currently going on with respect to the swearing-in of Uhuru Kenyatta.
At the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, it is a beehive of activity. Its final touches here and over there on what might as well be the final day of preparations ahead of Tuesday's second swearing-in of President Uhuru Kenyatta for his final term in office. So this one goes the Committee on Assumption of Office, led by Chair Joseph Kinyua, says it's all systems go for the event, which will cost the taxpayers a pretty penny.
Well, we are not really spending, a lot of money. What we have been able to put together, and we think it is adequate, is slightly above 300 million Kenyan shillings. That is adequate when we look at what we need.
All right, so Uhuru Kenyatta will be sworn in on Tuesday. He's invited a couple of people, including NASA leader Raila Odinga. Owidi, let me begin with you. From where you sit, do you think maybe Raila Odinga should just go and sit in at the swearing ceremony in solidarity with the rest of the country?
If Raila Odinga were to do that, he would have swallowed all he had said before. And I don't think he's ready to do anything like that. You know, Raila Odinga does not recognize the 26th of October elections. And Uhuru Kenyatta is being sworn in on the basis of that thing that they call elections, which we don't call one. I know Ambrose will tell you that, the Supreme Court authenticated it and upheld it. Of course, we sympathize with them because we all in NASA know they were under siege. We know they were...
Who was under siege already?
The Supreme Court.
Is that
they
a fact?
had no option. Of
Is
course,
that a fact?
It's a fact because we have listened to what President Uhuru Kenyatta said after the other election. He even said he would deal with them thereafter.
But even NASA leader Raila Odinga at some point said this was the one time for the Supreme Court to sort of redeem itself.
Of course, but he didn't say he would deal with anyone. When somebody promises we will deal with you, and you know he's the commander-in-chief of the Kenya Armed Forces, which includes Air Force, Jeshi la Nchi Kavu, the police, and we know what the police can do even if you are an infant. The police in Kenya, even if you are an infant, they will rungu you. So what is the Chief Justice? They will rungu him. So definitely we know the ruling went the way it did. because they were understood.
Okay, so Owidi, whichever way the ruling went, we're having a swearing-in ceremony on Tuesday. We're spending over 300 million Kenya shillings. What are your thoughts about the amount, first of all? My dear, you know, that amount, first of all, if I don't talk about even people who get power through a coup are also sworn in. What is happening here, this amount, 394 million, is enough to build 4 stadiums in the counties. And we are using this to collect a group of people and carry a Bible before them. Honestly, even when they are not been sworn in, they still waste our resources this much. Whether we are in for a rough time. Whether.
What do I say? You know, these people who are going to Canaan, but they went via Libya and they are stuck there so small. When they hear 300 million, they think, oh. I think the first question was whether Honorable Raila Odinga,
the president is clearly
himself should be, should attend. I think, I know Honorable Raila Odinga is hurting. He feels heavy-hearted over the process of elections, like all other candidates who almost got the prize. But there is a higher ideal, the people of Kenya, the country. And the invitation, they should view it more as a brotherly hand from the president. And that requires him to live above, live up to where he is. He's a great man, very great. If he did not have the hang-ons like Owedi and the rest, Honorable Raila is a very respectable, great man who loves Kenya. Why do I say so? In 2007, the gentleman would have sworn himself in, and blood would have flowed freely. He went beyond and said, it is enough, we will talk. And even when we were still arguing whether he has gotten half loaf or quarter loaf or 3 quarters, he said, what I have gotten is enough, a deal is a deal. That was the time he could have allowed Kenyans to continue butchering themselves. It is not as bad as it is today. So in that background, and the love he has for this country, and for all of us, and for the children and the grandchildren, you know he loves his grandchildren, he would look beyond President Uhuru, beyond Honorable William Ruto, and into the bigger picture of the country and say, I will come to that occasion for the sake of the people of Kenya. But I plead with the hang-ons, those who want to inherit the mantle, people like Honorable Rengo, the others, Owedi here, they want to push him to continue fighting so that they look like heroes next to him. Do this, we will swear if you swear. We count if you count. You know, some kind of shenaniganism, some noise that is meant to make them heroes. But they are making our hero, Honorable Raila Odinga, to look like them. Now, I am appealing once more that the patriotism that he showed in 2007, I am pleading he shows it now.
Okay, so while you're saying that, I know for a fact that NASA are planning what they're calling a mourning function for individuals who were killed during the demonstrations. Could we listen into what Musalia Mudavadi had to say?
To ignore the despotic coronation of Uhuru Kenyatta on Tuesday, 28th November 2017, and instead join us in person at Jacaranda grounds, Nairobi, or in spirit to mourn the lives of our dearly departed men, women, and children who have paid the highest price for exercising their basic constitutionally guaranteed right of political dissent through peaceful protest.
Okay, so that is NASACO Principal Musalia Mudavadi saying, asking Kenyans to come and mourn with them. They're holding, they will have a function at the Jacaranda Stadium just to remember the individuals who were killed during the protest. Owedi, on a day that the country wants to swear in an elected president and you have a counter function by NASA, isn't that a recipe for a disaster, so to speak?
Linda, why do you keep on going to elected? There was no election after the 8th one. Even that one was nullified. We are still waiting for a proper, verifiable election, transparent election. You know, when Ambrose Weda comes here and tells, oh,
but surely, Owedi, we all watched the IEBC chair, Wafula Chebukati, say Uhuru Kenyatta won. Granted, not, I think about, what, 30% of Kenyans, 70% didn't vote, going to the numbers we have. But still, he was elected during that repeat election.
Let me tell you, there are many people who get jobs, even here, I'm sure. If you go throughout the standard media employees, you must have one masquerading with a certificate from a stolen exam. This is somebody who's going to be sworn in with a stolen election. So he's going to be sworn in with a certificate he doesn't deserve. This is where our position is. So we cannot, even this here thing I hear everybody, people are talking, let's go talk. You are talking with somebody when he's being sworn in with a certificate that we believe is stolen.
So dialogue is not even an option you'd consider?
To dialogue about what? You know, we can only dialogue to reach a free and fair election for both parties. But you see, one side doesn't want a free and fair election. Why? You know, we are not saying, let's have dialogue so that Raila Odinga becomes president, Uhuru becomes the opposition chief. No, we are talking of having a free and fair election. If he beats us in a free and fair election, we will attend the swearing in ceremony. So
you're still having this function on Tuesday?
That function is going to be there. Why should it not be there? And we are just going to be praying. Because, you see, when Weda says that, you know, Raila Odinga is hurting, Raila Odinga is not hurting. The pain in him is on behalf of the Kenyans who have suffered under the hands of these guys. These guys who Weda served so diligently are very bad people. They kill even infants, not children, infants.
Weda, on one hand you have the swearing in, on one hand you have a mourning function, and they're saying it's not a rally per se, we're just going to mourn the people who died. But the question is, and that is the question that a lot of people are putting across, why couldn't this mourning function be put probably on a different day? Why on a day that probably the whole world is looking at Kenya? What are your thoughts?
I think my heart goes out for the people who have lost their lives in the political process. Either way, the loss of life cannot be justified. It's a very sad, irreversible event. And we ask our Lord Jesus Christ to console the families. The swearing in on Tuesday is not President Uhuru's making. It is the law. It is the Constitution. Him being declared president is not himself. It is the law. It is the Constitution. The country itself needs somebody to steer it. This time, it is President Uhuru who has to be sworn in by Tuesday. If it was just anybody's whims, he would have been sworn on a Saturday or on a Friday, near the weekend, not at the beginning of the week. So as much as we are mourning, when you also set your mourning on a Tuesday, it is basically to coincide, to share what they would look at limelight, or just to paint the swearing-in ceremony and the president in bad light, that you people are celebrating, you are eating, and these people are dead. It is good to mourn the dead, but it is bad to dance on their graves, to continue furthering our own political ambitions. It's unfortunate they died in a political process. Either some were shot wrongly by whoever, by police, some were hit and trampled on. Very wrong. But to stand on their graves and continue furthering is actually very, very sad. And I plead with our brothers on those sides that when people lose their lives, let us mourn them, but let us not use them as weapons to fight our enemies. I know that the swearing in will go on. If NASA and NRM wants to continue, they can continue engaging the president. The president will continue engaging them. But for a day like that, it would have been more decent just to say, swear yourself in, you will be sworn in. The following day, we engage. But if they have chosen that path, the path of dancing over the graves of the dead people, so be it. But I pray to our Lord Almighty that as we steer the country forward, let us console each other. Okay. Let us touch each other. Let us not use a body, a dead body, to do what is being planned on Tuesday. I'm also praying, and I know the president is open-armed. That's why he has invited them. That's why I said, my brothers, whatever we have gone through, come close. You make first step, second step. And I can see Honorable Raila will make that step. All he needs to do is to put people like COVID in the back room with a cup of tea and Coca-Cola.
In the back, right?
Then as they drink, or those who want beer, as they drink themselves lame, he will engage the president and things will be better. I know he's a good man. Okay. I know President Uhuru is open-hearted, nice.
So both of them from where you sit are good men.
Oh, yes. So these people are just painting dead. But I can see brilliance as we are moving forward.
I can't accept that. You know what is happening? If President Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to be sworn in a good atmosphere without mourning, he needed to have stopped his policemen from butchering Kenyans, who had even told him, we are going to have a peaceful protest. In fact, on the when this guy is butchered people who went to the airport, they had promised we are going to peacefully meet Raila Odinga as he comes back. And the funny thing, they went to the airport, they didn't throw tear gas at them, but when they were on their way back, so I don't know whether they wanted these people to go back and stay at the airport. Because all the tear gas, all the butchering, all the bullets flew when these people were coming back from the airport. It is the airport that Koome did not want them to go to. Finally, they found themselves there.
Okay.
Why were they being tear gassed when they were coming back from the airport?
Granted, but...
Why were they being shot when they were coming back from the airport? Where did the police want them to go?
Already that happened.
Yes.
What Weda is saying is that NASA is, quote-unquote, dancing on the graves of this individual.
In fact, the people dancing on the graves of these people is Jubilee, who are going to celebrate when the people they killed are still on the ground. These people were killed by arms of government. They were shot dead. There was a lady who was shot dead in her own bedroom. That is dead. And she was a widow, having a child who is going to live to suffer. This is the same police force that killed an infant. An infant is a baby below in months. This is the same police force that killed a student. And now they want to go and celebrate their murderous events. So if President Uhuru Kenyatta didn't want to dance on the graves of people, he should have asked the policemen, leave those NASA people to go to the airport and come back, then we have peace. All the butcherings that have happened in Kenya of citizens have happened because police has intervened on otherwise very peaceful demos. More people die when the police intervene than when they let people do what they got to do.
Direct question, Owidi. Do you see a clash on Tuesday with the police are very categorical?
With the people like Japheth Koome as head of police in Nairobi, you expect a clash. But if you got somebody a little bit much more sensible, he will say, okay, they are going to Jacaranda. Let's go to Kasarani. Let's stand on the way to see. In case they want to cause any trouble, we will stop them. But if they don't, let them do what they got to do. This is a free Kenya with a new constitution.
Let's listen to what he had to say.
Chapter 56, Laws of Kenya, talks about public-owned management. And it is clearly indicated there. If anybody intends to order public gathering, you must inform the local OCS. That is what is provided in the law. The convener to go to the local station commander, sit with the station commander, tell the station commander, this and this day, I'll be having this public gathering. I expect so many people. Then you agree on how security will be provided. If it is a procession, the same thing. You must notify the station commander, the OCS, in charge of where the procession will start from. Then where it will end, you must also have a session with that OCS as the convener. But up to now, as we are talking, up to this moment, nobody at all has notified any of my station commanders about any other meeting on Tuesday. We are not aware about that.
Owidi.
Linda. The spirit of this law was to let the police know that there will be a large gathering, provide security.
Has NASA done that?
It is like me coming here, then I leave here, then I go out there and tell people, I'm not aware that Linda is wearing a red jacket. He's already aware because he knows the date, the time, the people.
No, but have you officially notified the police?
Yes, that has been done. In fact, the letter has been circulating on the social media. This is just to justify his intention to get a few more liters of blood flowing.
The letter should be on your screen. And that letter by...
So when a letter is there, and he still comes to tell us on national media that we have not informed them, he's just denying it because the police is anchored on denials. They deny everything. In fact, if a policeman commits a crime here, as Japheth Kome is standing here. He will deny it and tell us we are going to investigate if he really did it. That's what they are made of. In fact, he's trying to rewrite the laws of Kenya. He's rewriting the laws of Kenya, and I'm sure he probably will not even be qualified to be admitted in the school of law.
Okay, so you're telling me now that NASA has notified the police in writing, officially?
They have notified the police.
Okay, Weda, what are your thoughts? Assuming they have and the police are in possession of that notification, should that gathering still be allowed to go on the day that the president, of course, is going to get sworn in?
You have heard Kome has stated the law, what needs to be done. And then I hear now in the social media.
I have a copy of that letter, Weda.
Written, I have no knowledge, but if it has been written, it is there. And if they are going to do their dance at Jacaranda, I think the only issue would be creating a breach of the peace, harassing people. You could see now how they treat people in Kisumu. I think the police, after a lot of noise...
Who treats people in Kisumu?
The Canaanites.
How do they treat people
they put roadblocks and they tax people and they do things. And it appears the police withdrew and said, if that's the way you want it in Canada, let it be. Mpaka, the governor himself just the other day, said, today I'm officially banning demonstrations which are not called by the CORD leader, the NASA leader, because you people have turned it into harassing wananchi. You see some of this, if you are just to go for your ceremony and you leave without harassing people, without violence, there will be no need to fight, to kill. But you see, already will come here and try to paint the way the police are killers and the way they are what. Yet on that day of the airport, I saw vehicles burning. Vehicles were banned
by the police
Please
themselves.
allow me to talk, because we are now talking about life and death. People have died, blood flowing. It is normal. I remember I went to the airport to welcome Honorable Stanley Njindo Matiba in 1992.
You went to the airport, okay.
Yes, when he was coming from abroad.
And there was peace.
The only difference, and that time, President Moi was tough. Nyayo House was alive. Nyati House was there. Some of us had the privilege of being visitors in Nyati House. We knew what time Matiba was coming in. Okay, we knew which leaders were going to receive him right at the airport. And then the Ogargaria like me now were waiting away. But when he came out, when he emerged, then we escorted him all the way to town. Even for Honorable Raila when he was coming from abroad. If his coming was well organized.
It was.
Please let me finish.
Okay.
They would have notified the police that we have these people. These are the leaders who are going to welcome him at the airport. The rest cannot enter the airport. That is
Weda,
just allow me to finish. Unless you people don't want this truth to be told. You don't want this truth to come out.
Okay, go on.
We are going to use this road. Honorable Raila will arrive at this time. He will be received by these people. He will then join these vehicles, and they will be heading straight like this. What happened? Some leaders, some two ladies who I don't know what they had smoked, sneaked into the airport saying, we are trying to look where he will land. That created a problem. Secondly, they did not even know what time I was arriving, which part they were doing. Early in the morning at 6, vehicles were already burning Njogo Road, whichever road, and you then have other people who are not involved asking the police, where are you? And a fight ensues and some people die. I appeal to my people, especially the Luo nation. However aggrieved you are, please don't throw a stone at somebody who is holding a gun. These people are just as mad as we are. They are human beings. They are mad as we are. We are not saying that they are from heaven. Police are not from heaven. Some of them also smoke things that we smoke. So you throw a stone at him, he will also throw the stone he has in his hand. But he has a gun. So please, even you, as you try to dramatize your journey to Canaan, please don't use people so that they get killed. Even Jacaranda, as you go, I have no problem with you going there quietly.
But do it peacefully.
Do it peacefully. But if you go there and throw stones at people and then kick other people's cars, and people will react.
So let me ask you.
God Almighty, please touch their hearts. Touch the heart of Honorable Raila.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
When you went to the airport to receive Matiba, did the police give you protection?
No, they didn't give us protection. Okay? But they didn't interfere with us. They didn't fight us. Because we were not going to... We didn't stone any car. We didn't block anybody. Those days, at least there were fewer cars. And the special branch and the other police were very tough. If they arrested you, coming back you would come back either limping or dead. It wasn't a joke. These days we jump on the sea and say, bring the tear gas. Those days, they will not bring tear gas. No. They will deal with it. But in those circumstances, because things were organized, and the international community, the press were there, we received Honorable Matiang'i. We brought him. You get it? Okay. We have occasionally received Jaramogi, but all these things were organized. Now here you have some 2 ladies and a few people going to the airport. They don't even want to follow the normal channel. And then they go there and they say, we have come to inspect where the Jacom is going to come. Creating chaos.
Yes. So if this can be organized peacefully, the function that's there on Tuesday, you have no problem with it?
Yes, with a caution.
Okay.
That day is a very high security day. Why do we say so? There are several other heads of state in the country. We are living in the era of terrorism. Our bigger enemies can easily take advantage.
Okay.
And that include, please, that include the same gathering. If it is not well structured and well cared for, it is a lot easier for a terrorist to walk in there with bombs. We are, as a country, living under tough times. That is why we need to cooperate with the police. We do not need the lives of Owidi to be just talking and blaming the police and blaming. And meanwhile, now he's guarded by the police himself.
No, Ambrose, you know, you can't lie to the police. You know, Ambrose is talking as if the police decided on the morning when Raila was arriving to disperse NASA. They had promised us they don't want Raila even to come back. They had promised us never to step at the airport. They had promised us that they will open the guns. This committee said they have enough bullets, they have enough tear gas, and they have enough police. Even right now.
They tell a lot of lies. They lie even in the media.
Okay, even right now. You know the way you talk.
What's wrong with you people?
You talk as if NASA, wherever they have a meeting, it will be chaos. We campaigned throughout this country, chaosless.
Okay.
We have met Raila Odinga at the airport before with even larger crowds. There was no chaos because the police didn't intervene. But you see, the fear in this Jubilee government is the biggest problem. Fear until even us sitting here, some people have a problem with it. Because they fear the truth. Okay. They must be told the truth.
I need to take a break before you're watching Crossfire. Thank you for staying with us. We'll come back and listen to NASA leader Raila Odinga talking about the function they will also have on Tuesday, just basically clarifying what exactly it will be. Let's take that break. We'll be back.
This is KTN News.